Righteous Crown Boxing. It's your boy, AR. No intro game. I don't need an intro. Shout out to the Warriors. David Benavidez, Kyrone Davis. I'm gonna jump right into it, man. It was a great fight, and it went as what we expected for David Benavidez to get the stop, for him to get Kyrone Davis up out of there. But me looking a little deeper into the fight, I feel as if Kyrone Davis could have made this a more interesting bout, as opposed to just playing to David Benavidez's advantage by coming out in the first round and moving around, being mobile. And if any of you guys know about fighting off of the back foot and having that bounce like a Muhammad Ali or Sugar Ray Leonard, it drains your legs, and you have to be in great conditioning. Your road work, it will have to be, I say, preparing for a fight like this, 8 to 10 miles a day at a higher than average speed rate is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Not, 8 to 10 miles jogging at a monotonous speed, you know what I'm saying, of about, say, 6 miles per hour. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be pushing like 7.5, 8 miles per hour. But Kyrone Davis's road work would have had to been superior to box like that for all 10 rounds and to give David Benavidez problems while doing so. But the problem that I had with Kyrone Davis coming out in round one, taking on the approach of not just fighting off the back foot, but having a bounce to his step. One, like I said, is it's draining for your legs, and it gets you tired faster, especially when you got a guy that's menacing as David Benavidez, coming with all that power behind his shots. It could be intimidating, and your nerves would drain out your energy as well. You know what I mean? I would have liked for Kyrone Davis to go straight to David Benavidez's chest from round one. Smother David Benavidez's punches. Why? Because he's the bigger fighter. He's the rangier guy. 6'1", you know what I mean? His arms is long, you know what I'm saying? So you being the shorter guy, and Kyrone Davis, you being the shorter guy, why fight on the back foot on the outside just to get picked apart? Why are you draining more energy? That was my issue. And I felt like that was just a bad way to set the tone for the fight. And shout out to Kyrone Davis, man. He has great heart. You know what I'm saying? I would like to see him in more bouts. I don't like seeing him at 168 because I feel he's a bit small for that division. I would love to see him, cut down to 160 maybe, if possible. I know it is. But I would like to see him in the middleweight division, more so than the super middleweight division, because it's just, he's not big enough. You know what I mean? Like, he has the mass for it, but with that mass, I feel like he can cut that water weight and really get in tip-top shape for middleweight and be a great contender there. You know what I mean? But shout out to Kyrone Davis, man. He fought a great fight. David Benavidez, he did what we expected for him to do, but it wasn't anything that I was highly impressed about. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a fan of David Benavidez. This is no hate. I'm an unbiased purist when it comes to this boxing stuff. You know what I mean? I just have to call it like how I see. And one thing about this boxing channel is all about the technicality of boxing and breaking down fights. You know what I mean? I even have videos of myself sparring and doing some amateur fights or whatever. And I break down and I point out what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, this, that, and the third or whatever. But one thing I didn't like about David Benavidez is his way of walking down Kyrone Davis, his approach. It wasn't a lead foot first, back foot second type of step. You know what I mean? It was more like he was just walking to his opponent. And that's a no-no in boxing. That I mean, from a pure boxing standpoint, That's not what you do. You don't walk to your opponent throwing punches. You know what I mean? But it works for him. Why? Because guys like Kyrone Davis, they come in fighting off of the back foot and not going to David Benavidez's chest. You know what I mean? Getting rid of that advantage that he has because of his imposing size. But one thing I did like about David Benavidez was his punch selection. You know what I mean? He was very smart. He didn't waste many shots. Each shot that he threw, it was accurate. He has deadly accuracy, especially from the outside range, and that's dangerous. Deadly accuracy, and he kept Kyrone Davis at the end of every punch almost. You know what I mean? And me being a boxer myself and being in that ring, that's the last thing I want, is to be at the end of another my opponent's punch. You know what I mean? I'd rather get on the inside and have him hook, you know what I mean, and not really fully extend on those punches, because if you right there at the right moment and they snap it, your head, you're gonna feel it. Either your head is gonna snap or you're gonna feel some type of ripple effect through your body if they hit you in the right spot. And that's one thing I felt like David Benavidez did, so that he does on a consistent basis so beautifully, is set up his punches and land accurately. You know what I mean? Even if he don't land, he's not in a compromised position to where he can get hit as often, even though, you know, he's standing right there, like welcoming, yeah, I want to get hit, but he has a way of maintaining that distance to where you can't get off too many on him. You know what I mean? You probably catch him with a good straight punch, but as far as like landing hooks on David Benavidez, like those big power shots and overhand right hands and stuff like that, I rarely see that. You know what I mean? You'll probably get a good jab, good stiff jab, or a good right hand, a good straight cross on him. But anything devastating as far as a winding up hook or anything, he doesn't get hit with those because he has a great way of maintaining that distance. But overall in this fight, man, I felt like it really began to slip away when Kyrone Davis started to show signs of fatigue, when he didn't keep the same energy that he had from round one. From round one, you know, he was looking good off the back foot, even though I knew that he was going to get caught the way that he was getting caught, like getting his head snapped back as he's trying to circle around because he's the smaller guy. Shorter arms, you know what I mean? So just scientifically, it's like, this is just like Mike Tyson trying to box Muhammad Ali from the outside. It's a dumb strategy, you know what I mean? Like, you fight your fight, you get in Muhammad Ali's chest as much as possible. Take away his reach, take away his advantages, and work to your advantage. You're the massier guy. You're the thicker guy, you know what I'm saying? So break him down to the body. I felt like Kyrone Davis should have did that, but the fact that he showed signs of fatigue is even as early as the second round, David Benavidez seen that, which is what gave him even more courage and comfortability in that ring to press him even more. You know what I'm saying? And I knew it was just a matter of time. I knew it was a matter of time before it was going to be a stoppage. Even in round 5, or at the end of round 5, when Kyrone Davis went back to his corner and his coach was saying, man, you got another round in you. I'm like, this ain't good, man. It's only round 5. And he's asking if he got another round in him. Like, this ain't good, man. But I was watching the fight intently, though, man, to see if David Benavidez was ready for the elephant in the room, which is Canelo Alvarez. There's been a lot of talks circling that fight, saying that, well, it only makes sense that David Benavidez fights Canelo Alvarez next because Canelo isn't coming back until the month of May in 2022 for Cinco de Mayo weekend, which is a big, you know what I mean? That's like our 4th of July, you know what I'm saying, to the Mexicans. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense for David Benavidez and Canelo Alvarez to make the fight during that time, but how I see that fight playing out is Canelo stops him. It's going to be a good fight, you know what I mean? It's David Benavidez, he'll give Canelo a run for his money for about a good 4 or 5 rounds. But after that, Canelo just picks him apart and hit David Benavidez with stuff that he never felt before in his life with 10-ounce gloves. You know what I mean? Sparring is one thing. You know what I'm saying? You can get the best sparring work, but when you put on those 10-ounce gloves, it feels different. It feels a lot. It's a big difference. 6 ounces is a big difference. I don't care what nobody say. You know what I'm saying? Depending on the gloves that you have too. If you have gloves that got horsehair in it, that's even worse. You feeling the knuckles in every punch. You know what I'm saying? And some. But I just feel like Canelo breaks him down at the round 5. You know what I'm saying? And you know the way that David Benavidez he fights, he's very accurate. He's great at what he does, but he has glaring weaknesses, and mainly it's the footwork and the way he sits in the pocket. You know, he's too welcoming to, you know, the contact. You know what I'm saying? He does a good job in anticipating the hooks and, you know, putting the high guard up or putting the face guard up to where he's, you know, blocking his face from the jabs and the straight hands, or even, you know, putting on his earmuffs and blocking those 3s and those 4s, those lead hooks and those rear hooks. He's good at that, but you know, he's up and down. He's an up and down fighter. I don't see really more of a dynamic. You know what I mean? And he looks good against C-level fighters. You know what I'm saying? He does pretty good against B-level fighters, in which I believe the only B-level fighter that he has fought to date is Anthony Durrell. You know what I mean? He's a good fighter. You know, but I can't be biased. You know what I mean? Shout out to Anthony Durrell. You know what I'm saying? That's a Michigan boy right there, Flint, Michigan. Stand up. But you know, that's his best opposition to me, and that's not that big of a test. You know what I'm saying? You going up against arguably the pound for pound best. You got to come with it, and you know, like I say, David Benavidez, he has to implement a key strategy in how he's going to beat Canelo, because it's not just going to be going toe to toe, mano a mano, macho on macho. That's not the way you're going to win. You're going to have to bang it out with Canelo, but also show him different looks in the box. And I don't see Benavidez developing that at this stage of his career. Yes, he's young still, but he's been boxing for so long with that type of style. It's like that's going to take years to break. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't see him switching up his game style. So I see Canelo breaking him down after 5 rounds, solely based on this performance that I seen tonight from Benavidez, and also the history of the other fights that I've seen from him. He looks impressive against, like I said, those C-level fighters, even B-level fighters, but I don't know if it's going to be enough for A-level fighter of Canelo Alvarez. But you guys let me know what y'all think in the comments, whether you agree, disagree. You know, I welcome all the criticism, feedback, whatever. This is Righteous Crown Boxing. We keep it real. We keep it tactical. We keep it technical. Much love. Salute.